Hi, Ashley here with HeartHookHome.com, and today we are going to work up one of these awesome lattice beanies. These beanies kind of have a cabled look. It looks really difficult. It kind of is. I am using the Swish DK weight yarn in a Loam Heather colorway. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous brown that has little flecks of red in it, but it is super hard to see on video. So instead, this is what we're using for the pattern. Instead, what we're using for the tutorial today is Gloss DK in Robot. I love this color. It's actually very similar yarn, except for this has a bit of silk in it, and of course it's a lighter gray color, and it is absolutely gorgeous and fun to work up. As long as you're using a DK weight yarn, it will work up just fine. For this pattern, we will also be using a G 4mm hook, and this pattern comes in a multitude of sizes from infant all the way to large adult. So follow along with the size that you are making. For the brim of this beanie, we are starting with a single crochet band back loop only. So here I have 70 rows. Your brim for the infant size and the smaller sizes is only going to be 6 stitches across. For the larger sizes, it is 8 stitches across. So make sure you're following for the size of beanie you are making. I'm going to make 2 more rows of the single crochet back loop only, and all you do is chain 1, turn, and we're going to be single crocheting literally in the back loop only of each stitch across. I personally, in my patterns, when I use this technique for ribbing and edgings, I like to go through both loops of the last stitch because I feel like it offers a little bit more stability. So when I get to this last stitch over here, I'm going to pick up both loops of that stitch only. And now I'm going to have 1 more row, so chain 1 and turn and single crochet in the back loop only. Oops. When I get to that last stitch, I like to go through both loops and finish that single crochet. Now that we have our ribbing complete, it's time to join it so that it is in a circle. Make sure that it is not twisted around itself, and just join with a slip stitch to the top of that first opposite edge. You can either do it now and take this tail and sew end for end, or you can do it at the very end. I like to do it at the end because I can weave in any holes or anything that I have left over from that join. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to place a half double crochet row around the entire top here. And so I'm going to be going into every single row end. So if you look, this is a row, 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 this is a row. So you're going to have as many stitches as you did rows. So for this infant size that I'm making, I had 72 rows of the single crochet back loop only, which means that I'm going to have 72 half double crochet stitches at the end of this row. So I'm going to chain 1, I'm going to half double crochet in the same as where I joined. Now I'm going to half double crochet around the next row end. Half double crochet in the bottom of that next row end, half double crochet in the next row end, bottom of that one, and I'm just going to do this all the way around. And you know, since I don't like to sew my 2 ends together quite yet, let me show you what I like to do. To make sure that this doesn't get all twisted around as I'm crocheting around, I'm just going to place a stitch marker right in those 2 pieces together, and then at the end I'll weave that in. But this way I know that this is the correct way when I get back around after this first row. So I'm just going to continue half double crocheting all the way around in each of these row ends. So this is my last stitch of row 1, right into the top of that last row end. So now I have my 72 stitches. I'm going to join to the top of the first half double crochet right here, just with a slip stitch, and that is completed row 1. Now I'm going to chain 1 and turn, and I'm just going to half double crochet in each stitch around. When I get to the end here, I'm going to join, and I should have 72 stitches again for the infant size anyway. So I'm just going to half double crochet in each stitch around, and then the next row is where things start getting interesting. Okay, I have just made it back around for my finished row 2, and we are ready to work on row 3. So what we're going to do is chain 1 and turn. Now we are setting up the foundation for our cables or our lattice pattern. The very first thing that we're going to do is we're going to place a half double crochet in this first stitch. Now we are going to front post treble crochet around the stitch 2 rows below. That's a mouthful. It doesn't have to be complicated. Let's take our time. So if you look down here, the first stitch of this row, row 1, is this one right here, right? This guy right here. So we're going to go around the next one. Since we did a half double crochet in that one, that lines up with the first one from that one, right? So we're going to do a front post treble crochet around this guy right here. So in order to do that, you're going to wrap your hook twice. You're going to go from front to back and just around the post of that stitch from row 1 and just complete your treble crochet as normal. Now you're going to do the same thing in the next stitch. Wrap it twice, go around that stitch front to back, the whole post of it, and complete your front post treble crochet as normal. Now we are going to place a half double crochet in the next stitch, and in order to do that we're going to skip these 2 because that's where these 2 stitches would have gone. So we're going to skip 2 and we're going to put a half double crochet in the third right there. So right into this guy we're going to place our half double crochet. Now we're going to place 2 front post treble crochets around the next 2. So skip this one because that's where our half double crochet went down into. We're going to place a front post treble crochet around this guy and then this guy. We're just going to do this all the way around the entire beanie. Wrap it twice, skip that one and go around the next one. Wrap it twice, go around the next. Half double crochet in the next. Remember that to leave those 2 that would have been worked open. So half double crochet in the next and then wrap it twice. Skip that one because that's the half double crochet one and go around this next guy. All right, now that we are almost back around, we should only have these 2 stitches remaining, which means that we're going to place our last 2 stitches are going to be front post treble crochets around these. Last 2 posts of row 1. And then we will be ready to start almost our actual cable stitches. So now that I've got those last 2 front post treble crochets, I'm going to join to the top of the first half double crochet right here. Now for all of the even numbered rows from here on out, look how pretty that is. Isn't that pretty already? Now for all of the even numbered rows from here on out for the entire pattern, those are going to be half double crochet rows. So anytime you have a even numbered row, your odd numbers are always going to be these post stitches for the rest of the pattern. Go ahead and chain 1 and turn, and we're just going to half double crochet all the way around, and then we're going to join to the top of this first stitch. So my last few stitches of round 4, and round 5 is where it really starts to get fun. So I'm going to slip stitch to the top of my first half double crochet, right? And now I am ready to start with the good stuff, the actual cables, which is kind of difficult. So first thing, we finished round 4 right here. What we're going to do is we're going to turn. We're not going to chain or anything. We're just going to turn so that we're looking at the cable side, right? We're going to slip stitch in the first 3 stitches. So this is the first stitch right here. Slip stitch. And don't do it too tight. Leave it loose enough that you can be able to crochet into it here in a little bit. Slip stitch in the second stitch. Slip stitch in the third stitch. Okay, now we're going to chain 1. We're going to half double crochet in the next. And now that we're here, we are ready to start our actual cables. So what we're going to do, this is the beginning of our row right here, right? Is another reason why I like to leave this open, is easy to see the beginning and end of your row. So these are the first two treble crochet, front post treble crochets from the last, or from row 3. These are the second, and this is the third set. So now for round 5, we are going to skip the first 2 sets of front post treble crochet, and we're going to front post double treble crochet around this next set each, okay? So skip these 2, skip these 2, wrap your hook 3 times for a double treble. You're going to go around that next post right here and finish your stitch. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Do that again around this next post. These are all in sets. So these are the 2. We're going to go 3 times, go underneath that next post, finish that double treble. Should be 4 yarn over and pull through 2s. Now we're going to do the same thing that we did when we were making these down here, is that we're going to half double crochet in the next. So we're going to skip these 2 because that's where those 2 stitches we just made would have gone into. So we're going to skip those 2 and do our half double crochet right here. Okay. Now we're going to front post double treble crochet around these 2 that we just missed, the previous 2 posts. Wrap it 3 times. Now come and go underneath this one right here. Finish that stitch. Wrap it 3 times and go under the second post of that set, right? We're going to do this whole row together, so if that looked confusing, just bear with me, okay? The most important thing is that at the beginning of round 5 is that you skipped these 2 and these 2 to start the first 2 that go over into the third set, right? So now we've got this giant X. We're going to do that all the way around. So the next thing after we do our post stitches is to do the half double crochet in the next. So we're going to skip the 2 that those 2 would have gone into, half double crochet in the next. Now we're going to skip these 2 right here, and we're going to front post treble crochet, double treble crochet around these 2 right here. So wrap it 3 times, skip these 2 right here, and go around these 2. 1, and then 2. Now we're going to half double crochet in the next stitch, so skip the 2 that those would have gone into and go into the next one. Half double crochet. Now wrap it 3 times, and we're going to go around these 2 that we just skipped. First one. One, 2, 3, and second one right here. Half double crochet in the next. Remember to leave those 2 open where those would have gone. Wrap it 3 times. Now we're going to skip the next set of posts and do each of these 2. 1, and 2. Remember to do our half double crochet in that stitch there, leaving those 2 open. 1, 2, 3. We're going to go around these 2 that we just skipped. And this is all there is for round 5. So round 5, we are going to do this row over and over and over again, but not consecutively. So this is going to happen again, right? I don't know if you're happy to hear that or not, but yeah, we're going to get through it together. So we're going to skip these 2, go around these 2. When we get back around, you'll notice that this is where we started. right? And so we've got all of these lovely X's all the way around, and we've got these two left over. This is technically the first set of post stitches of the previous row, and this is the last set. In order to hide our seam on this beanie and to make it seamless, we're going to use this for the first two and then come back on top with these for the last two, right? So do your 3 wraps and go around this, which is technically the first pair, right, of the row. So you're straddling the seam here. Go around this one here. Do your half double crochet, and then do your 2 around these posts here. Now that does mean, since we did our slip stitch at the beginning of this row, we did those 3 slip stitches, that does mean that our seam has technically moved over 3 stitches this time. So we will correct that at the beginning of round 7. Now that we're done with these last 2 post stitches, we're going to join to the first half double crochet of this row. See how we did these 3 slip stitches here? We're going to half double crochet or slip stitch to the top of the first half double crochet, right? So that in between each set of posts, there's a half double crochet in between each of these, all the way around the entire beanie. So this is the completed round 5. It should look like this, where you've got X's and then these are on top of the ones below, right? This is looking gorgeous for round 5. Since we have an even numbered row coming up next, row 6, round 6, that's going to be just a straight up half double crochet row. So I'm going to chain 1 and turn, and I'm just going to half double crochet in each stitch around. I've made it back around with the end of my round 6, and now it's time to start round 7, and this one's going to look a little different. What we're going to do is we're going to slip stitch in the first 3 stitches, or the next 3 stitches, before we turn, and this makes it to where we're hiding our seam again. So go into the first stitch and slip stitch. Remember to keep these just a little bit on the loose side. Go into the next slip stitch and the next. And now that we've got our 3 slip stitches, we are ready to chain 1 and turn. We're going to place a half double crochet in the first slip stitch, right? Or technically the third, but the first since we turned it. We're going to place a half double crochet right in that first stitch. Now we're going to do a front post double treble crochet around these 2 right here, the ones that are peeking out from underneath, and then these 2 right here. Now this round 7 is more tricky than round 5, so we're going to take this nice and slow. Wrap your hook 3 times for the front post double treble. We're going to go around these 2 posts, so once and then twice. So pick up that first one only and finish your front post double treble. 1, 2, 3 wraps, go around the next stitch. Now we're going to half double crochet on the current row. So that's the one we went into. So we're going to skip that one, and half double crochet in the next one. And now this is the fun part, or the not fun part. Wrap your hook 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Now instead of going around the top of this and just hooking these, we have to go underneath these 2 that we just made to snag these. So what we're going to do, turn it sideways a little bit. I find that helps. You've got your 3 wraps around your hook. Go underneath those 2 and hook the first one here. Okay, now pull that up like this through the top and finish that stitch. So this is what I mean in the pattern when I say working behind the 2 posts just made, or under. So wrap it 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to get that next one, right? So we got that one. Let's get this one. So go under, hook it, pull it up, and finish the stitch. This is what gives it that woven effect. You have to have some that go on top and you have to have some that go on bottom in order for it to be woven, right? So now we're going to half double crochet in the next stitch here. So leave those two open. We always, always, always leave those two open where those two stitches would have gone. Half double crochet in the next. And that's all we're going to do all the way around. But we do need to practice this together multiple times, right? So 1, 2, 3. We're going to find the next two right here. These two that are coming up from underneath, 1, 2, and hook those. Do your front post double treble around those two. 1, 2, 3, around the next, right here. Half double crochet, leaving 2 unworked, as always. 1, 2, 3 wraps, go under the 2 you just made and hook the first one here. Finish the stitch. One, 2, 3 wraps, under, hook the second one, bring it up, finish the stitch. Half double crochet, leaving those 2 open. Now we're ready for the next. So we're going to do these 2 and these 2. So 1, 2, 3, first one. 1, 2, 3, second one. Half double crochet. 1, 2, 3, under, snag the first, pull it back up through, finish that stitch. Once you get in the groove, it's not too bad, but it's definitely not the most exciting thing to do. 1, 2, 3, under, hook it, pull it up, and finish the stitch. And that's all we're going to do all the way around. Half double crochet in the next, right, leaving those 2 open. 1, 2, 3, this one here. One, 2, 3, this one here. Half double crochet, leaving 1, 2 open. 1, 2, 3, under, hook the first, bring that little guy up here, say hello little guy, I'm going to finish you. Oops, I only grabbed part of it. Let's do it again. 1, 2, 3. Maybe I shouldn't talk to my crochet while I do it. Finish that stitch. 1, 2, 3. Hook its friend. Second one's easier to do, I think, since the first one's always already been kind of pulled up in there. Half double crochet there. 1, 2, 3. This one here. These are the last 2 stitches of the row. Now that I've done those last 2 right here, I'm going to join to the top of the first half double crochet. So here we are at the end of round 7. This is what it should look like. You've got all of your crissy-crossies. Nobody likes this row. It's perfectly fine if you don't either, but it is important for this, right? So you can see that we have hidden our seam, which is beautimous. It's very nice that we don't have to look at a big ugly seam on the back end here. So now that we are done with round 7, we're ready to start round 8, and since that's an even numbered row for this pattern, it means that we're just going to chain 1 and turn and do our half double crochet around. Now that I've finished round 8 and I've joined to the top of my first half double crochet, now it is time to start the next row. So this is going to be the same row that we did down here. So we're first going to start off by doing 3 slip stitches. Now we're going to chain 1 and half double crochet in the next. Now we're going to go ahead and start straight away with going into these 2 here, and then we're going to half double crochet in the center, and then we're going to go into these 2 here. Now this time, since it's this round and not the row 7 that we just finished, we're going to go on top of the ones we just made. So wrap it 3 times. We're going to go around this first one, wrap it, go around the next one, do a half double crochet, skipping those 2. Now we're going to wrap it 3 times. We're going to go around this one here, and we are going on top. We're not having to go underneath everything this time. We're just grabbing those to form our big X's again. Okay, now here we are at the end of round 9, and what we're going to do is these are where we did our slip stitches, the 3 slip stitches at the beginning of this row. Now we're going to do our last set of crosses here, and we're going to join to the top of that first half double crochet. Wrap it 3 times. Let's finish up this round. Now when we do our last 2 stitches here, we're not going to do a half double crochet at all. We're just going to join to that first half double crochet that we did of the row. Now I'm going to chain 1 and turn and do my half double crochet row all the way around. Now that I'm ending round 10, what we're going to do from here on out, let me join this real quick. What we're going to do from here on out is we're going to repeat rounds 7, 8, 9, 10, 7, 8, 9, 10, over and over and over until it tells you to stop for the pattern size that you are making. Isn't this adorable? It's looking like a little woven set. Very nice, very nice. Now we are ready to start the next round, which would be round 7, which is the one that goes underneath, where we have to stick our hook in and kind of grab it from the bottom side, or the underneath side. So round 7, again, what we're going to do is we're going to slip stitch in the first 3 stitches. Now we're going to chain 1 and turn. We're going to place a half double crochet in that very first stitch. Now we're going to look at our crosses that we're making, right? We're going to go into these 2 first. We're going to place our half double crochet, and then we're going to go underneath these 2 to hook onto this one right here. So wrap it 3 times. Let's do our first 2 post stitches here. 1, 2, 3. Do the second one. Do our half double crochet. So skip those 2, go into this one here. Now we're going to wrap it 3 times, and we're going to hook underneath of those. Remember, we just made these 2 here. Now we're going to go underneath of them and hook the first one here. Pull that guy up on the middle and finish the stitch. The worst row of the whole pattern, I promise. After we finish this row, or after we get the hang of this guy down, I'm going to complete the rows that I need. For this infant size, I'm only going to go through round 15. So right now I'm on round 11, so I've only got 4 more rounds to go for the infant size. And then I'm going to close up the top, and we will do that together. So hopefully this video has been helpful in learning how to crochet this gorgeous lattice stitch. And like I said, I have wristlets, I have leg warmers, I have an infinity scarf, and I have this pattern which can be made into a closed top beanie with a pom added to it, or you could make it into a messy bun, which there are instructions for both. So let's keep on working up this round. And then when I get finished with my repeats for the infant size, we will close it up at top together. So here I have just finished round 15, which is the last round for the infant size before we start cinching everything up. I wanted to show you guys a trick, or the way that I count my rows, and look how you can't even tell where that seam is. Isn't that beautiful? Now, how I count my rows with this stitch, since looking at it from the front is like, oh my gosh, is this one, or is this one, or what row is that? I flip it inside out so that I'm looking at the back side. And if you look, when we're counting these rows, the first row that we did was a half double crochet row, and then we did another half double crochet row. So this is row 2 right here. Every time you see one of these that sticks down, that's an odd row. So this would be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, right? I hope that helps. Just look for the little half double crochets that are going into the half double crochet rows, if that makes sense. And now we are ready to cinch up the top of our cute little infant size beanie. So let me reinsert my hook here. What we're going to do for the last 2 rounds, we're going to chain 1 and turn, and we're just going to decrease. We're going to half double crochet decrease all the way around. Since I have 72 stitches for the infant size, at the end of this round I will have 36. So we're literally decreasing by half. So I'm just going to decrease these half double crochet 2 together all the way around. Join to the top of the first half double crochet, and now you can see that we've made the opening a little bit smaller. We're going to do the same thing again, so we're going to chain 1 and turn, and so now at the end of this round, since I have 36 here, I'm going to have 18 stitches at the end of the next round. Now if you are making the messy bun version of this, this is the round where you're going to put your hair tie there and crochet around the hair tie just for this last row. So if you need help, just let me know, but literally just lay the hair tie there and just crochet around it. So I'm going to do the same exact thing that I just did. I'm going to decrease all the way around the top. The last decrease here, I'm going to join to the top of that first stitch. And now you can go ahead and fasten off. And we're going to take this, we're just going to cinch it up, right? Look how cute that is. See how that would make a great messy bun though? So if you have your hair tie here and you just go crocheting around those, the hair tie for that, it leaves a perfect opening for your little messy bun. So now I'm going to clip my yarn. We're going to pull this through. We're going to take our yarn needle and we're just going to weave in those ends. I just like to find where I came out of for this last one, and I just like to kind of weave it in and out of these last stitches. Kind of cinch it up as you go. In and out, and in and out, in and out, like that. Kind of cinching it up as we go. Just make sure we got that nice and clean. Looks good. Let's just go through one more time just to kind of pull everything together. And then we'll feed that yarn into the inside so we can weave in the ends. Call it a hat, right? So cute. I hope you love this pattern. It's one of my favorites. So I've got it pretty well cinched up. I'm going to flip it inside out. And then I'm just going to weave in the ends thoroughly to make sure they aren't going anywhere. And then I'm going to go back to the beginning, the band, and we're going to sew that together. I'm just going to use a whip stitch to do that. It's one of the only times I do whip stitches. I prefer the mattress stitch generally because I think it looks cleaner. All right, so I got that one more time because I'm weird about weaving in my ends, especially on hats that are going to get cleaned and washed, etc. Looking good. Let's do that bottom band real quick. We'll go ahead. Look how cute that is. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's take this out of here. We're going to thread our yarn needle. And now I'm going to just take from here. So this is where I came off. I'm just going to take it over here. Maybe. And now I'm just going to sew. I hate how to position my hands here. Sew stitch for stitch, just using a whip stitch. Looks good. I am going to go down here and kind of tighten this little guy up a little bit. It's part of the reason I don't weave in any ends, or I try not to weave in any ends until I'm completed with the project, so that if I see something funky like that, I can go back and fix it. So I'm just going to feed my yarn or my needle through here until I get down to the bottom. And I'm going to kind of do like an invisible join almost, where I go in the left side here, and then I'm going to come back on this side and grab the actual stitch right here, so that I can cinch up that little hole like that. And then I'm going to go back through again, the same place where I just went in. And that looks better, right? So now I'm going to weave in that end for sure. And that is all she wrote, folks. Let me snip this yarn. I think this one would look super cute with a giant white pom-pom on it because it's a newborn size or an infant size. I just think that it is super cute. I hope you love this lattice beanie pattern. Make a messy bun version. Share it with me in the Heart Hook Home Crochet community. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed crocheting with me today. I'll talk to you soon.